Hey, Bryn, Nick here from News Talk ZB, man. I guess just first of all, as Razor was alluding to, there a lot of, uncertainty around this bubble situation, moving potentially to Queenstown. I guess just from a player's perspective, with a lot of guys with partners, families, commitments in Christchurch, how has it all been digested? And as a consensus, is the playing group ready to go into an environment like this?
Yeah, I think we are. I think, it's COVID these days, and probably the last, 12 to 24 months we've been dealing with things that are out of our control. And so I think what Ray's alluded to around, it's probably the messaging just from the NZRU and New Zealand Players Association, just getting that format and that kind of schedule for us will be the biggest thing for us. So hopefully moving forward today or whenever it is, we can get that information out and make it a bit easier for us. But I think, look, for us it's a great opportunity. It probably actually reminds me of back in the day when we'd go on tours for 3-4 weeks, and so a lot of our younger guys probably haven't experienced that doing that. So it's a really good opportunity for us if that does happen to be able to do that. So and to be able to play rugby again. I know for me personally, not being able to play during the NPC, there's a lot of guys who haven't played. So especially the Auckland, Northern and Counties boys that haven't played for a while. So it's a really exciting time for us, and we're just really looking forward to get on the field and starting out in Oamaru on Friday.
Yeah, I was just going to touch on that. Like you said in NPC, so there's definitely the feeling that whatever's humanly possible, you're just itching to go while minimising that risk.
Yeah, it is, and I think being really smart around it. Ray brought up some pretty good points that it's the normal now. We get our antigen tests and we do that twice a week, and it's all more so just becoming the norm. So for us again, I think it's just it is tougher for obviously the guys and the families, and you do obviously think about the All Black boys that have been away from home in that European Rugby Championship. But for us. Again, it's just been able to adapt, and it's pretty much has been COVID the last 12 to 24 months, been able to adapt on the run. And for us, we're just looking forward to be able to play a product that, playing Super Rugby Pacific, which is going to be massive for us this year.
It's just on the rugby side, a new addition in the halfback ranks this year with Te Toira. How has that been, and how is that looking forward to that challenge of yourself, Drummie and Te Toira all going for that starting position?
No, it's great. It's been great having Trip. Been fortunate enough to play with him in New Zealand Māoris quite a bit, and a really enthusiastic young man. So for me, it's great to have him in the environment. And again, when you can add any form of experience, obviously we've had Eddie Anati for 4 or 5 years who developed while he was down here. But then to add a guy that's been an All Black and bringing him in the environment, that's only going to add depth to Drummie and myself. And it's a competitive bunch, and no doubt, hopefully he'll bring the best out of us. But hopefully Drummie and I can push him to get back to where he was back when he was in the All Blacks.
So there's definitely that camaraderie rather than trying to be number one or number two. It's definitely a competitive environment from that sense.
No, it is, Nick. I think for us in this environment, we do it really, really well. We're good mates off the field, but on the field, we're trying to be better competitively internally with ourselves, but then helping out the guys that are in that squad as well. So with us three, marrying up ideas together, training hard, working hard, and whatever that player needs at that time, being open enough to be able to have those conversations. So that's what we do really well down here, and it's not only with our competition with us nines, but I think I can probably speak for a lot of the squad. It's pretty similar around that mindset and helping each other, and also trying to help yourself internally as well.
Good man. Go well, Bryn.
Thanks, Nick.
Okay, Bryn, Rob here. Just what I know you since North Harbour stuff last year, and what exactly have you been doing since August? Has this felt like the longest pre-season imaginable?
Yeah, it's been a long time for me, to be honest. Probably something that I haven't experienced in my career, but I think for me personally it was great. Had a few injuries at the back end of Super that probably wouldn't have been able to work on during that Bunnings NPC. Would have probably just played a full season, and then would have probably had a short time to try and get those things better. So for me personally, once we did get that call that we weren't going to play for North Harbour, for me it was a great 8-week block to be able to then nurse those niggling injuries that I probably wouldn't have been able to. And so it was tough watching it, I will be honest. I think a lot of us North Harbour boys in counties in Auckland, we worked for 8 to 10 weeks before we actually got cancelled, not knowing what was going to happen. You still train, you still have the hopes of playing. So for me personally, once we did finish that, it was great for me to be able to get some work done on my body, which has really helped me for this back end of pre-season. And for me personally, just really looking forward to get out on the field. And it is a shame that we're not going to have the crowd there. Farmlands Cup, it's always a great encounter, and a lot of fans come out from those rural communities. So for us personally, it's tough that we're not going to be able to see them. But for us as players, we're really looking forward to be able to get out there and still be able to play.
Did you get out of Auckland at the start of that lockdown? When exactly? Because I saw you down here. I think it might have been October or something. When did you get down here?
Pretty much once we had that lockdown imposed from Jacinda, I think there was that 48-hour window that we were able to go back home. And obviously, I live here as well, so I was fortunate enough to be able to be in two parts, living in Auckland and in Christchurch. And then my partner lives down here, and so within 24 hours, I was down in Christchurch. Not thinking that we're going to be in lockdown for 8 to 10 weeks. So that's when I did come down, and thankfully I was able to do that. More so for my partner, she was happy that she got to spend that time with me.
Just last with me, what's your take on Pablo? How's his integration been in the last few weeks?
Yeah, he's been great. I think anytime you can have that experience and that kind of level of player, we're fortunate enough to have him. And Tom Sanders left us, and his nickname was Hundy, and Pablo's really gone and fit that mould really nicely. If you don't know what Hundy means, you've got to be able to hold the handbrake with Pablo, because he's always doing things at 100%. But I've just been really impressed. His English is really, really well, and I think he's just fitting in really nicely, understanding our shapes, and I guess changing his terminology around how we do play the New Zealand game and what he's probably accustomed to with Argentina and European rugby. But no, I've been really, really impressed with him, and really looking forward to seeing how he goes on the weekend against opposition and not putting hits on us as training partners.
Cheers, Bryn.
Thank you.
G'day, Bryn. Zion here from TVNZ. Just touching on the last few months for you. I know you're saying you're sort of rehabbing some niggles that you had, but for you, was it a bit of a frustrating time, sort of not knowing if you were going to play or not? Then, your NPC block not being for Hub, and you not being able to play. I mean, was that a frustrating few months just being up in the air?
Oh, absolutely. And I probably speak for a lot of those boys, the Auckland and the counties boys. Yeah, it was frustrating because as players we tend to have a schedule, and we pretty much know how our season's going to play out and what those days and weeks are going to look like. So I guess for us it was really tough not knowing, to be honest, and seeing other teams be able to play, and it was more so you're getting updates every week, every day, and you try and be upbeat, coaching a leadership group, trying to keep the group in high spirits. But yeah, it was frustrating because I love playing for the Crusaders, but again, I've played a lot of rugby for North Harbour, and really enjoyed playing for them, and we had aspirations as well to be able to get back in the top division, and those things weren't able to happen. But as it is for the last 2 years, COVID is unpredictable, and we're seeing those effects even now, talking about possibly us going to Queenstown or whatever that's going to look like in the future.
Yeah, and I mean, just on that, do your preparations change? Was it in the back of your mind, when you're preparing for a new season? I mean, I know you touched on it earlier, but the general consensus within the team, I mean, is everyone just wanting to know what's going on and what's going to happen and where you're going to play? Yeah,
that's probably it. I think it's just not knowing, and you're not being able to plan. I think a lot of guys like myself, I'm a yellow dot, so I love schedule and being able to know what's going to happen. But I think we've just had experience the last 2 years, just not knowing certain things around COVID, lockdowns, and now we've got obviously protocols around tests and being able to have that in place now. So we're pretty experienced around being adaptable around what's happening around COVID, and for us, if we do end up going away, we'll have things in place when we do have that opportunity to do that. And for us, we travel well, we love being with each other, and again, the coaches, and once we're all aligned and get all those messages, it'll be a lot easier for us. But I guess it's this kind of limbo of not knowing. But the good thing about playing rugby is that you still get to be able to train, and we're fortunate enough that we're able to train and still being able to implement things in our game that we can moving forward for the season.
Yeah, 100%. And just finding for me, with all the sort of ideas being floating around, whether you move away, whatever you do, I mean, as a group, is there sort of one solution that you guys would prefer?
Oh, not really, to be honest. I think, look, we'd love to be at home, but if that doesn't happen, then so be it. I think more importantly for the competition's sake is that we are playing rugby. You look at obviously. Look at the Warriors, the Phoenix. They're over in Australia for 4 or 5 months. I think 4 to 5 weeks. If that's the outcome of us happening, it's a sacrifice that we've been willing to make. You look at the other teams and what they're going through. I can only imagine how tough it is for families, being 4 or 5 months away. So, look, when it does happen, hopefully we get an announcement within the next 24 hours, and then we can just move forward going from there.
Cheers, bro. Go well. Appreciate it. Thanks.
Thank you.